Tesla announces new models ahead of their timeline in the face of these bad earnings. We'll take a look at those earnings as well. We're also going to look at the daily closes on the Bitcoin miners today because it was very exciting. Let's look at those real quick on today's second episode of Trade Cave. Right here, as per Reuters, Tesla to launch new models ahead of planned timeline, which caused the shares to jump. So they came in, they missed their earnings, they missed them pretty good, but Tesla is up 6% anyways. We mentioned this on the channel. This is exactly what Tesla needed in order to see a turnaround on this absolutely plummeting stock, and it's exactly what they gave us, and it's exactly what's happening on the stock, and we'll take a look at that here before. So if you've been watching this channel, you were prepared exactly for this moment. They've gave us the go-ahead. They've given us, and of course, this is not financial advice and not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. Tesla has given us the buy signal here with this announcement. Now, I don't know how long-term this buy signal will last, considering it's just an announcement with no actual meat to it, but people are already excited about it, and I think that excitement will probably continue on up to maybe even close to $200 on the stock, potentially with this sort of catalyst coming out of Tesla. So on the financial front, they missed decently. Their estimated was 52 cents on the EPS, earnings per share. They came in at 45, a whole 7 cents underestimated. Okay, that was a bad, kind of a bad miss. They also came in $1 billion under revenue. So that was not good. They also had negative cash flow. They actually ended up having a negative free cash flow of $2.5 billion compared to an expected positive cash flow of $653 million. That's terrible. This rally right now is purely based on that announcement of new models that they rushed out. They couldn't even tell us what models they were. If you look in here on this article here, like, it doesn't even say what articles they were. It just said on Tuesday it had pulled forward the launch of new models from the second half of 2025, meaning they're expecting to do it in the first half of 2025, meaning they're probably going to deliver you a subpar product at that point in time. So expect some dips around that time when these things don't come to fruition, the same way the Cybertruck kind of ended up being a huge fiasco for them. So expect that going into the future, but this is exactly what we thought they would need. And in the after hours, you can see that there's this mega god candle right here on 13, right at 1 p.m. here, Western time. We got a massive 7% pump, and it's going to continue until the earnings call comes out in about another 45 minutes. I'll cover that in the morning here for Tesla, since this is so exciting and happening, so quickly right now. You can see that Tesla once again broke an ascending channel to the upside, like I've been talking about in the last couple of episodes. There's a few stocks that like to break that rule of ascending and descending channels, where they generally break opposite the direction that they're going. But Tesla and Nvidia, and maybe ARM to a certain extent, likes to do it the opposite way sometimes. Not always. They do follow that path sometimes. Like back here, you can see this was an ascending channel that broke to the downside. Overall, this is a big descending channel that's starting to break to the upside. But this was an ascending channel that you would have thought would have come right back down and tested the lows again, but nope, it just broke to the upside, given that new news, that new catalyst on Tesla. I thought that was really important just to bring to the channel today. Tesla is doing the thing. It's flipping around. I'm looking at potential moves off of this news to come up. If it can conquer 160, if it can conquer 160, I'd be looking at it coming up to at least 175, maybe even into the 180 range here off of this news in the next couple of weeks or months. So again, not financial advice, not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. That's just what I think when I'm looking at this chart compared to the news and some other things, and just the fact that it just completely spits in the face their terrible earnings. They get a pass because they're Tesla and they announced something new is on the horizon. Can't tell you what. This definitely wasn't rushed. Definitely wasn't rushed and just like clamored together last minute because we knew our earnings were bad. Definitely not that. This is totally for real. That's exactly what they're pretending to tell us there right now. Anyways, let's move on to the next thing. So if you notice today, Bitcoin was actually down a little bit. It was down by 0.84%, but in reference to that, the Bitcoin miners are actually up. They're up kind of big today. RIOT up another 5.43% today. It got as high as $12.18 before coming down just a tiny bit down to 11.85. If we go to the weekly chart on this bad boy right now, we have so far nearly a 30% week in the last 2 days. This hammer candle, what did I tell you about this hammer candle? This was bullish, and it is showing up that it is in fact quite bullish. We're getting quite the engulfing candle here. If we continue on up and we close over $12.07, we're engulfing the previous two red candles in 1 week on RIOT. So RIOT has come alive again, and it looks like it wants to get to the top of this channel at $17.42. It wants to take out these two highs up here at $18. It wants to go higher right now. Now we're going to see it if it can maintain that momentum. I'm looking at something similar to like back here November 13th, maybe just like a launch up. We'll see though. May and June tend to be kind of weak for the miners, so we'll see what happens there. We might get like a strong like first half of May, and then we might start taper off into June and prepare for that July rally. So we might be seeing that taking action right now. So we might only actually get up to like 14 or 15, kind of like, and then take a breather and then do the mega launch for July. So I'm still looking for the big push up. I'm still thinking July. Now, if it starts hitting like $20, you know, in May or June, then I'll be like, well, maybe the big push-up's coming right now. But I am still eyeing that July timeframe for the big moves on these bad boys. Let's take a look at Mara real quick. Mara actually made it just up to made it up to my line at 1980. Bounced off of that a little bit, came back down again. If we go to the weekly, you'll see that that hammer candle was absolutely what we were looking for. In fact, we are engulfing the previous weeks, the 2 weeks ago, April 8th, that candle. We are currently engulfing that. This is looking a lot like a Morningstar pattern right now. If this can close like this by the end of the week, if we can close above 1980, that is crazy bullish for Mara, and we would be looking like we're going to be doing a move up to the mid to high 20s again on Mara if it can maintain this momentum throughout the week. That is quite exciting for Mara. Let's take a look at Bit Digital. Bit Digital is inside of the megaphone. They have earnings on Thursday, so keep your eyes on this stock on Thursday and all the miners on Thursday. I think Bit Digital, if they come out with positive earnings, if they are posting a profit, I think all the miners are likely to get a little bit of a boost off of that, because that is a foreshadow that they're all potentially going to be profitable, especially since Bit Digital is such a small miner compared to some of these other players like CleanSpark and Mara, and honestly, RIOT. So let me bring up CleanSpark. I forgot to have CleanSpark on here. CleanSpark getting out of my descending channel here. Is this the time where it breaks to the upside? I don't know. We'll find out. But right now we are trading above $20, and that is pretty exciting on CleanSpark. If we go to the weekly, we are seeing just bullish candle after bullish candle. We have fully engulfed the negative candles from before that started in the beginning of April. We could end April positive this way, especially if I go to the monthly. We're looking at we're still negative 2%. We got to go 2% higher to not have a negative month in April on CleanSpark right here. But we are looking good right now with that. If we can hold again, now we are getting close to being overbought again. If we can hold, we may go up again into the mid 20s, where I would be looking for a candle like what we printed here on March 25th. Looking for some of that dilution to come through, because remember they've got $1.3 billion to dilute on us, and I promise you they won't do it on the lows. So they'll be looking around the mid 20s. Maybe they'll let it creep up to like higher 20, like 27 or 28, and then I'd be looking for a candle just like this one here to sell off of with some dilution. So keep your eyes open for that. Let's take a look at Bit Digital. It is doing that V-shaped recovery just super well today. We ended with strong today. We ended the day up at $2.11 post. We're doing $2.10. We came right up to resistance and just kind of halted at resistance, which I expect to see probably a bit of a flag here. I wouldn't be surprised if we went sideways up until the end of the month and then got back into this ascending channel here, hit the bottom of that channel, and then started moving our way back up to that 250 range here on that one as well. The last thing I want to talk about today is the CIFRW warrants. These warrants, okay, this morning they were at 132, which is where I sold. So I bought at 196, 192. I bought a batch, and then another batch at 96. So 92 and 96. My average was about 94 on nearly 1,000 shares of these things. I sold them all at $1.32. Today they went all the way up to 151. Man, that would have been fantastic. That would have represented like almost another $200 for me had I held one more day. But I don't feel bad. I've rinsed and repeated this move already 3 times, made $300 to $600 on each move right now. Again, I'm just waiting, especially since it closed beneath, like right at the bottom of this box. I'm waiting for it to come back down into this box. Maybe give me a chance. I'm thinking it's probably going to come back down to maybe about $1.03, 4. I do have a buy order at 97 cents just in case it wicks down there over a day or two. But I do expect it to get to like 1 or 2, like 103, 104, and then maybe start crawling back up here at some point on the warrants. It really likes to do this pattern where it goes down to like just barely under $1 and then rockets up to like 150 to 180 and then comes back down to test those lows again. So that's what I'm watching for the warrants right now. I have been making money off of them. I've been very happy with these so far. So that's all I've got for you today. Tesla had such super disappointing earnings, but a huge announcement, which is exactly what we were expecting and what we said we needed on this channel in order to get that turnaround. And it looks like we are being given that turnaround. Look at this thing. It's just going right up. If it opens over 160 tomorrow and holds for the greater part of the morning, I'd be looking for it to be going up to about 180 by the end of the week, to be honest on this one. So that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a profitable day.